That means basically everybody who lives here gets the same rights. That's kind of what he's saying. Like, that's pretty much what it says. It is clear that the terms of the treaty guaranteed all black settlers freedom, U.S. citizenship, and rights to their Florida land. So three things: freedom, citizenship in the U.S., and rights to their land. Rights to their land, rights to their land. Which one do you think they took first? The rights to the land, then they took the freedom. The U.S. citizenship, you kind of got that because you were 3/5 of a person, but that's it, in a commodity. It also gave them the right to migrate to any territory owned by Spain. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. Interesting. So they had the right to migrate to any Spanish territory. Years before the Adams-Onis Treaty, the U.S. was under great pressure from white slaveholders who wanted their runaway slaves returned. So they want, here we go. This is where they get into the greed. So they wanted their slaves back. I'm sure this is going to be part of the narrative. They also wanted the Florida land that the runaway slaves, free blacks, and native Indians owned there. So they wanted the people and they wanted their land. So there we go. Remember we were saying like the land and the freedom were the two things they were going to take? That's what they're doing right now. It was estimated that black settlers owned, pay attention, that black people owned approximately 40% of the land across northern Florida. That's a lot of land. 40%. That's ours. That's ours. Where's my cut? That's ours. 40% of the land in northern Florida. Slave owners petitioned General Andrew Jackson to use his military forces to help them seize the land and the slaves. So the slave owners went to Jackson. They said, those Negroes, we want their land and we want their bodies. We want their black bodies and we want that land. And so they got Jackson to use the military to go to Florida and take it back. General Jackson, a slave owner himself, was sympathetic and obliged the slaveholders. He made several illegal military incursions into the Florida territory to capture runaways, take their land, and to destroy the black maroon towns and Seminole Indian villages that were protecting black settlers. Jackson had no military, executive, or congressional authority to invade Spanish Florida and to kill its black and Indian citizens. His actions nearly threw the U.S. into war with Spain over these incidents. The only reason Jackson's military invasions did not trigger a war at the time was that Spain was so financially weak that it preferred to sell Florida to the U.S. rather than get into another fight. Are y'all as freaked out about this as I am? I'm reading this with you. I did not know these things. This is fascinating. This is one thing that's interesting too is Spain's ability to defend itself was driven by economic problems. I think that's a profound point that I want to make to you, and I want you to understand that even in your life as an individual, your ability to defend yourself and to defend your own freedom comes down to whether or not you are financially prepared. So therefore, the fact that you live in a society that teaches you to be economically reactive instead of economically proactive pretty much opens the door for you and your children to end up in slavery. When you don't have financial security, in general, you don't have security, period. So many of us are trained from birth to live in a consistent state of financial insecurity, which opens the door for others to come in and invade territory that should belong to you. No, what does that invasion look like? No, they're not showing up and they're not killing you. They're killing you slowly, but not killing you directly. But what does that mean? Well, that means they're going to take your time. So they're going to take your freedom. You can't do what you want during the day because you're going to have to go to work. They're going to come in. They're going to get your children. Your children can't work in the family business. They're going to have to go work for, this white man over here and that white man over there, right? And then on top of that, you're just going to be in this constant state of economic anxiety. So what I want you to understand is that this is bigger than money. Money is bigger than money. Money is not that important to me, honestly. Just today, I get people on my Instagram all the time. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance, by the way, and I have another one, Dr. Boyce Money. Follow me on Instagram if you want to.